My name is Amanda, and I'm with the Tampa Hillsborough County Public Library, and we are so happy to welcome back Chef Mira today. So, Chef Mira, you are going to be helping us learn how to make some make-ahead breakfasts. And I am very excited about this because as someone who likes to sleep in, but also likes to eat breakfast, I'm looking for tips how to save time and save some money there. So we're going to do this, and this is really perfect because some of us are going back to school, maybe some of us are going back to the office, back to work, but it's always helpful to learn these recipes. And I love things that you can kind of set and forget and come back to. So I think we're going to learn some of those today. So before we jump right into the recipes, I do want to share some book recommendations for you. So if this is right up your alley and you are looking for these type of recipes, I've got my little notes here. I want to share some different books that we have in the catalog. So 2 are digital and 1 is from the physical catalog. Our first one we have is Breakfast for Dinner. It's by Lindsay Landis. So if you are also like me, you love breakfast foods, but you don't love being up in the morning, you can also find some of these recipes. They are traditional breakfast recipes, but they've been made a little bit heartier, so you can eat them more as a evening meal or make bigger batches to share with family and friends. You can find that digitally. You can find that on the regular catalog, or you can find it digitally on Overdrive, which is one of our streaming book services. You can find that as an ebook. You can also find in the regular catalog, the Healthy Breakfast Cookbook. This is by Shayna, Telesmanic. And this is, again, another theme we have going on. Not only are these going to be good, convenient breakfasts, but they are going to be healthy recipes. We're going to learn to make some healthy recipes. So if you're looking more for that angle of things that are healthy or substitutions you can make or different ingredients to make your recipes healthier, you can definitely find that in our catalog. And then the third one, which is a little bit inspired by today's program, is the Mason Jar Cookbook. Yes. This is by Amy Fazio. And these have that, I can see we have our mason jars right there, which is perfect for make-ahead breakfast. They also have breakfast, lunch, and dinner recipes. You can find that streaming digitally on Hoopla. And all of these books you can find in our catalog at hcplc.org/books. So Chef Mira, I am so excited. I am going to pass it over to you. So I'll be turning off my camera and I will come back at the end to read some of those questions out loud.
Amanda, thank you very much for that introduction, and always a pleasure to work with you and see you. And thank you everyone that is logging in today to spend some time with us. We're so grateful. We know you could be doing so many other things, so we appreciate it. And thank you, and welcome to my kitchen. So I am a holistic life coach and wellness chef, and I am so happy to share this class with you because Amanda literally inspired me. This is something that I have been considering making more ahead breakfast because I get up early in the morning and I kind of have a routine that I have to do in the morning, and sometimes I have to leave. And yesterday I just cut up a peach and put some nuts in a bowl and then took it with me. But this is a thorough way to make sure that you're getting your nutrition, that you're saving, because it's a really booster for your budget, and we'll talk about that more. And it's kind of like endless variety. Like you could change the recipe so much. So we're gonna go over first the ingredients, then I'm going to mix a couple of the recipes. But remember, these recipes are meant to inspire you. So if you don't have some of the ingredients, that's okay. Replace them with what you have. If there's something that you want to omit because you're not used to eating it or don't like it, do so too. Make it your own. That's what I'm trying to say. And let me start first with the ingredients. We have 3 recipes, and one is with chia, one is with oats, and the third one is with quinoa. I made a sweet quinoa for breakfast, and I'll go over how to make it. But I'm going to turn the camera, the laptop down, so you could see the ingredients that I have here. Okay, now let's start from the back. I have here my oats, and it's just old-fashioned. I have here some oat milk, which is what we're going to use with the oat. We got some peanut butter. I have some quinoa, organic chia. Lost a knife. Got some raw honey, wildflower honey, also organic. Then I have some blueberries, peaches. Again, if you have other fruits, go with those. I like using berries because berries have, they have sugar, but they have lower content of sugar, and they're packed with antioxidants. And peaches and nectarines are in season, so that's why I have some of those. Then I have some walnuts, some Belgian chocolate, you know, to sweeten your morning. This is the quinoa, and I'll explain how I cooked it. I have for seasoning and flavoring, I have some organic cocoa. I have some of these double strand Madagascar bourbon pure vanilla, but you could use whichever vanilla you have at home. Then I have some cinnamon, some ginger, and some cardamom. I love using cardamom on the, either you could use cardamom in spicy or savory stews, or you could use it also for, I use it even in tea, but you could also use it for sweet. So then I have my mason jars. I have a couple of mason jars here, different sizes. If you don't have mason jars, that's fine. You could use whatever container with a lid you have. But then I have these ones too that have like a seal. So, you know, you could carry these. They come in plastic too if you want to use plastic, but I like using glass with this. So let's start first with our oats. And I have some of them already mixed here, but I want to show you. Oh, that smells so good. So this is my mixed oats, and I'm going to show you what's in them. I'm going to mix some here so you can see them. And I know you're not going to believe, here we go. So to a cup of raw oats, that's a lot, but I like making a little extra because like you've seen, you could keep it in a container mixed in, so you could use it for the next time again. Like I have a whole portion here. Then to my oats, I am going to add, this is one, I'm going to use half a tablespoon of powdered ginger. That's going to add some flavor, and also ginger is a natural anti-inflammatory. Then also cinnamon is also the same amount, half a tablespoon. Cinnamon is highly recommended too for digestion, and you know, imparts great flavor and aroma to your breakfast. Little messy. Now on the prepare that I made yesterday, I did not add chocolate, but I want to add chocolate to this one, another half a tablespoon. And to bring, even though we want to make this is a sweet dish, I'm gonna add a pinch of salt, because that pinch of salt is gonna bring all my flavors together. Okay, and it's not gonna taste black. So just mix it. Now at this point, if you wanna add another layer of flavor, you could toast your oats. But I didn't think it was necessary, but that's an option. And see how the oats are gonna get covered with all those condiments and those seasonings. And this is what we're going to use to put our bowl together. I'm gonna use the one we just mixed and save this one for later. So I have my container here. I'm gonna add a little bit of peanut butter too. So let me see where I'm losing things in the kitchen, and I'm the only one here, and I can't blame nobody. Can't blame my kids. All right, so I have a cup. Gonna add it. Half a cup right there, right? A little more. Okay. Then I'm going to start adding my peanut butter. I need another knife because I dropped the other one. And you could make, I will say, if you're making this in batches, you could make 3 or 4 at a time. And once you see what I'm putting in them, you see that you can use pretty much any ingredient that you like for breakfast in here. Now, if I was making this for Amanda, I will also do a dab of jelly right here, maybe raspberry or strawberry jelly. Then I'm gonna add some more of the oats. To this layer, I'm gonna add, so I like crunchy, the construct of crunchy, so I'm gonna add some walnuts. And walnuts are great nut ones because they also pack with antioxidants. But if you're having, you know, if you're feeding someone who has any issues with biting, they're a lot softer than almonds. I'm gonna add those, okay? I'm gonna add a little bit more of the oats right there. And then to top it, I already have in here peanut butter. Amanda, what do you think? Should we do the blueberries or should I do the nectarines?
Oh,
Which one?
you know me. I would go with the blueberries for that peanut butter and
Blueberry.
jelly feel.
Peanut butter, blueberries. It's beautiful. And then just a little bit more of walnuts. And how about chocolate? Well, we already have chocolate on the oats. So this is some Belgian chocolate chips or little squares. I'm gonna do that. Now, that's ready right there, right? You could keep them like this, prep them, and then the night before that you're going to use them, then add your milk. You could add any milk you prefer or like. I'm going to use a plant-based milk. And I'll tell you how much as soon as it's a cup. And in this case, this is oat milk. You could use, we were talking about before the program, Amanda and I, about the plant-based milks we like. You could use coconut milk, you could use almond, cashew milk, whichever your preference is. And then you're going to fill your bowl. And then tap it a little bit so it goes all the way to the bottom. I'm gonna add a little more. And even though I have one made with all chia, to this one I'm gonna add a little bit more antioxidants and just add a little chia on top. And that was like half a teaspoon, if that. Then for the rest of the milk, before dumping it, you can also choose to add a drizzle of honey. Mix it in. And there you have it. Then top it. Right, so that's our first choice, our first recipe. I'm gonna cover it. And this is what it looks like. I didn't fill it to the top because I want to leave space for the oats to actually absorb the oat milk and kind of rise. This is the one I made yesterday, but when we get done mixing all of them, I'm going to open them so we can see what they look like inside, okay? That's the oats. So now let's work with our quinoa. No, actually, let's do the chia, and we'll do the quinoa last because I got to explain how to cook the quinoa first. So to the chia, we did half a cup of chia seeds, and I have some here that are non-GMO, organic. If you like, you could pulse it on the food processor, and it's going to become like a dust. And you still can use it for breakfast. It's not going to change, but it's not going to be the bubbly, bursting little bubbles. It's going to be more like a pudding kind of yogurt kind of texture, if that explains it. Okay, so I have me here some of the chia. I'm gonna use a full cup, and this is, well, actually I'll do half because chias grow. Do you remember that commercial, chia? So they grow. So here's my chia, and to my chia I'm going to add half of it to the bottom. And I'm gonna add more blueberries. If you have raspberries, strawberries, feel welcome to do that now. Add that. Then I'm gonna use a little bit of vanilla, just a drizzle of vanilla. Ooh, that's good. Then I'm going to add more chia, more blueberries, more chia. And that's good. I don't want to use no more because that's enough. I have another one, a full one. Again, I'm going to use the oat milk, but you are welcome to use whichever other This is gonna be, here I have actually 3/4 cup. You see, can you see the milk kind of going under? Being absorbed by the chias right there. Overnight, this is going to grow. I like blueberries with chocolate, so I'm gonna add just a little bit of chocolate on top. And for some crunch, we'll add more walnuts. And that's our chia right there. Again, you can mix the ingredients and leave the milk for the night before. I'm gonna give it a quick tap. So the chia on the bottom, might have to put the fork in there. There you go. Now we're talking, okay. See that? Talk about an antioxidant burst right here. Those are our chias. And they're going to take. Now, let's talk about the quinoa. So quinoa is mostly, you could eat quinoa cold. Once you cook it, you could eat it cold or hot. You can make salads with it. You could replace rice. I like adding quinoa to brown rice too, just to add a little bit more protein. If you are reducing animal-based protein, then quinoa, it's a great way to substitute that. Plus, the soluble fiber is also wonderful for digestion and keeping the blood sugar levels controlled. Now, chia cooks half a cup of quinoa. Quinoa cooks half a cup of quinoa per cup of liquid. So I cooked it with water. I added, this was a cup of quinoa, 2 cups of water. I added a pinch of salt, and then I added a teaspoon of honey. That's what made it sweet. If you want to use coconut sugar, you can use coconut sugar. It's just quinoa can be a little bitter and savory. So by adding the honey, it's something like a chemical reaction because it changes completely. And the texture, as you can see, you want it to be loose, but still, thick enough to hold whatever you put in it. So this is quinoa. This is how I cooked it sweet. So it has a teaspoon of honey in it. Now let's put together this dish. Now for this make ahead breakfast, I didn't add milk to it. And I'll show you the one that I prepped. I didn't feel they needed the milk. I actually wanted the fluffiness of the quinoa, and I'm in love with this recipe. This was my favorite one of all of them, and those were good too. So there's some quinoa. Then make it really pretty. On this one, I'm gonna use some of these beautiful fruits that we have here. You have apples, pears. I'm gonna leave the skin. I like leaving the skin. They're already washed and rinsed, but I leave the skin just to add a little bit more of that fiber to my dish. So pretty. You could dress the fruit with a little bit of coconut sugar or honey, but I think they're sweet enough. They don't need that. And we're adding the chocolate too. You don't have to add chocolate. I just love chocolate, and what a great way to start your day with a burst of Belgian chocolate. And it's not a lot, but enough to satisfy your desires or your sweet tooth or your chocolate craving. Look how pretty that looks right there. Please remember, if you have any questions or any suggestions on how you will add something different, let us know. But that's the one. This was my favorite out of all of them. Now, let me show you the one I made last night. It settled a little bit and it doesn't have the nectarines in it, but the flavor is there, right there. It's got the chocolate, When I put the chocolate in, the quinoa was still a little bit warm, so it melted. But I gotta taste this one. This I feel delicious. The chocolate and the walnut. The chocolate is silky. The walnut is crunchy, and then the quinoa, it kind of bursts when you bite into it. Delicious. I can't wait to try this one with the peaches. I don't want to stick a spoon and eat out of it because my husband is gonna finish this one. But look at the peanut butter bursting in. See that? Got the chocolate. So I'm just gonna pour some here so you can see it. And it's got the peanut butter. It's got the chocolate. If you want to put some, again, raspberry or strawberry jelly, you could do that too, or preserves. And then you have the oats have absorbed the oat milk. And remember, this is the oat that has all the seasonings, like the ginger, the cinnamon. This one has cardamom. I don't think I used cardamom on the one we made today. I forgot. But this one does. And this one doesn't have chocolate, the chocolate powder either. So let me try this one. The oats are completely cooked. They went in raw and they taste like you cook them. So that's why I said if you roast them or toast them before you mix them, that's gonna be another layer of flavor. This is really good. And I don't even eat oatmeal like this. And I'm eating it. Definitely would do that again. I'm usually not a person to eat oatmeal like this. I like it on smoothies or cookies, but this I could definitely eat. That's weird how your palate continues to change. God, I will eat it. Okay, then these are the chias that set overnight. And then again, I top them with some of the walnuts. If you have macadamia nuts, if you have almonds, if you prefer almonds, pecans. So the chia, I'm gonna pull some. See, it's like a pudding. Can you see that? Some from the bottom. This one has blueberries. And look how when I pull with the spoon, the bites come out with some of those blueberries. I want to try it, but I want to try it with the walnuts too. On this one, oh wow. The texture of the chia, to me, definitely needs walnuts or some type of nut to go through it. Because it's kind of like a bubbly yogurt, I want to say, is how I can describe it. So it's a little kind of like, I don't want to say, would I say slimy, but that would not be a good way to describe it. But it's moist. It's more moist than the actual oats. Interesting. And then I have some here with the blueberry. That bite has blueberry, has a little bit of chocolate, and the walnuts right there. If you, again, as we get back to work or school, and we are being mindful about budget and wellness, these are 3 ways that you can meet the need of your budget because you're saving. We were talking about this earlier. Amanda, can you do some numbers, please? If you spend $5 a day, and that's, being shy, on breakfast every day, and you work out, outside of the home, so you're talking about 5 to 6 days a week, you're spending $5. And then think about what is that a year? That could be the payment, down payment for a dream come true, whichever it is that you have. Also, if you're dealing with trying to, whether it's keep your weight in check, or you're dealing with maybe dealing with some high cholesterol, or dealing with something in your health that is not helping you meet your goals, or is making you uncomfortable in some kind of way, then starting your day with a wholesome breakfast that you can make at home, save the time. You don't have to do this in the morning. And you saw how quickly I made it. You could do the batch, have all your jars, all your containers, have all of your ingredients, and then mix and match them. They don't even have to be the same every day. With the same ingredients, you could have different flavors. So not only saves you money, but I think you will be really happy with the results if you stick with having your breakfast like this. Now, we're talking about breakfast, and usually we think eggs, bacon. If you watch last week's video, we actually made homemade hot pockets. And in one of those recipes, we made a breakfast one. So it had eggs and bacon, and I believe cheese too. So go back and watch that video, because that will be also another breakfast that you could pre-prep and then just bake in the morning, or bake it the night before. Make sure it cools down completely, and then pack it for breakfast the next day. And you want it to cool, when you're dealing with pastries, you want them to cool completely before you cover them, so they don't lose the crisp or the flakiness. They don't get moisture. So these are, any questions so far, Amanda?
We do have some questions. I did do the math for you. So if you could save about $100 a month if you were spending about $5 a day on a breakfast sandwich, or a donut, or a bagel, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we do have plenty of questions
Yes,
coming
please.
in. I will start with a comment, and I promise this one is not legitimately me, but I do feel this. It says, "We're getting hungry over here," and I said, "So am I. So am I." So our first question is about a recommendation for substitution. And of course, remember too, we want your questions, but give us your comments. If you have a flavor combo, if you have a substitution, we would love to hear it and share it with the audience. So our first question is people with maybe peanut allergies or specific food allergies. Can you recommend an alternative for peanut butter, maybe a different nut butter, or something that's not a nut butter that can kind of bring that those good fats or that thickness to the oatmeal?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, so if it's a peanut allergy, then you could go with other nuts that you're not sensitive to. But if it's an actual, all of the nuts, that's a great question. I will say that the chia, when it's dry, not wet, is a great alternative, because it gives you some of that bubbly crunchy, and it has the antioxidants. So that's a
Wonderful.
good one. Another one, if you take, for example, instead of peanut butter, and you take some of fruit and you pulse it on the food processor and make like a paste with it, you could also substitute the peanut butter with that. Dates are perfect for that. So if you get
Oh yeah.
dates, soak them in water, not too much, just a little bit, to get, like, if you have the dates, you just want a little bit of water over them. They're going to absorb that water. They're going to plump. You could also use orange juice. I've used dates with orange juice to make desserts.
Ah.
Then let them soak. Whether it's cold or hot, you could cook them for a little bit so they could get, nice and soft. And then, of course, first take the seeds out. Take the seeds out, add your water or orange juice, hopefully, a natural, good orange juice, not, synthetic orange juice. And then pulse it. Pulse it in the food processor and make a cream with the dates. And that has the texture and has the sweetness that you will get with peanut butter.
Very
That will
nice.
be that's how I will address that. So hopefully that helped answer that question.
Could you use avocado, or would it, because I know avocado can add thickness to things and you can put them in shakes and smoothies, or do you think it would be too much of the taste would kind of come
The
through?
avocados will definitely bring the fat and the antioxidants too. And then what I will do with the avocado, I will sweeten it. I will mash the avocado,
Oh, okay.
add a little bit of honey to it and mash it, because you could use avocado, like you said, in smoothies, and you could actually make mousse with avocado too, chocolate
Right.
mousse. So yes, I would definitely say sweeten your avocado. Actually, if you have some organic cocoa and some honey or coconut sugar, mash your avocado or pulse it and add those ingredients, and you have a great substitute for peanut butter there.
Yum.
Certainly. Thank you for that. That's a great question. Thank you for bringing that up.
That is a good one. We have another good one here, and this is so you can make these and the oats absorb overnight and you don't need to cook them. But if you do want to serve them warm, what is the best way to heat up the meal without overcooking it? Could you do it in the microwave, or if you wanted to serve it warm, kind of one of those, if you like your oatmeal that temperature, what would you recommend?
Wow, Amanda, I love that, because as I'm tasting the last bite, I'm thinking, wow, this will be amazing if it's warm. So yes, so you could warm it up before you go. And you could do that by, if you have the time and you want to use the microwave, use the microwave. But what I will do is I will take the lid off, boil some water, and put it in there while I go get dressed and go get ready. And then the hot water is going to get everything really nice and warm. If you make sure that the jars and containers that you use are microwave friendly before you put them in the microwave. But that's a good way to do it. It's just warm it up like a baby bottle.
Very good, very nice. So there are options. You can eat it straight from, or you can warm it up. It looks like very versatile, which I love. Another question is about dried fruit and frozen fruit. Can you use those as well? Or, oh, that looks so good, Mira. Trust me, my coworkers are going to be seeing me bringing in these recipes in next week. So I am very excited for that. They're going to be seeing them in my lunch bag. But could you substitute? Would it work with either, if you buy the dried fruit bags, like the dried apricots, the dried apples, you see the apple chips, or anything, or could you with frozen fruit? Would that work, or would it add too much moisture? Or
no, I think the frozen fruit will work great. And actually, I recommend, if you buy fruit, fresh fruit, after 3 or 4 days, if you have not eaten it, just cut it up and freeze it in bags and put it in the freezer. And then you will have it and then you will have it available for recipes like this, or for smoothies too. But smoothies are great in the morning too. So definitely, you can use frozen fruits. They will work great. They will add more moisture to the recipe, so that's going to be perfect. It's not going to mess it up. And if you have fresh fruit and you want to freeze it so you could use it a week from now, 2 weeks from now, on the next batch that you're making, you can. Because, for example, if there's only one person or 2 people in the house and you buy, fruit, how fast can you eat it?
Right. Or if you're taking advantage of a sale and you're taking advantage, you get it and you say, oh, I'm going to eat it fast, or use it or lose it. So,
and you leave it there. So whether it's bananas, whatever fruit you have, after 2-3 days, if you haven't eaten it, chop it up, put it in the freezer. One thing that we've been more intentional of doing is using the fruit for juice. I just put them in the blender with some water and ice, and I squeeze a lime and blend it, and then I put it in a container in the refrigerator. You could always run it through a colander to get the fiber out. Sometimes I do that, and it's an agua fresca, but I like the pulp too. So sometimes I just leave it like that, and within 2 days we drink it. So you don't have to. You could make a liter, and then you're not wasting the investment of having the fresh fruit, plus you get the health benefits of it without the waste. So those are things that I have learned to do here, because now the kids they're grown, so but we still enjoy getting fruit. So that's a way that I have found it works for us to not have so much waste.
Wonderful.
Bananas, if you freeze them, they will be perfect for this. But when you freeze bananas, make sure that you're peeling them. If you peel the banana if you froze them with the peel, then to take them off that peel, you have to defrost them completely. Where if you take the peel off and you cut them, put them in a bag and freeze them, then they're already in chunks. And it's like if you're making smoothies or making this, it's like frozen fruit. I actually use it for ice cream too. I think I mentioned that in other classes. Yeah.
Very nice. We have, I know we're running out of time. We'll do a few more questions. Okay. So Mira, one thing we know is sometimes it's a little bit easier with the oatmeal to get the consistency, but sometimes with the chia, it's hard to get that pudding-like consistency. Is there any way you can salvage it if you go in, you do overnight and it's still a little thin or a little soupy or a little watery? How can you get it to how can you thicken up your chia if it doesn't thicken up right away?
So the one that we just mixed today, look how quickly it hardened.
That's true, yeah.
So the key is for I think the ratio is 1:1. So for a cup of half a cup of chia, a cup of the milk, the plant-based milk that you wanna use. And that again, look how quickly it thickened.
Yeah.
So chia pretty much is it's either going to grow or stay depending on the space that you give it.
Oh, okay. So it could be also the container that you've not given it
also
enough
the container, yes.
Grow. Okay,
right.
And we'll ask one last question for today, which is, I know when people meal prep, they love to do batch cooking, and you mentioned making bigger batches. How long? What if you make a big batch? Like maybe say you make Monday through Friday your breakfast. How would you freeze it, or would you keep them in the refrigerator? Would you recommend freezing them or keeping them in the refrigerator for like a week at a time?
I would recommend 5 days.
Okay.
And if you're adding the milk, I wouldn't go more than 3 days. But if you're adding your ingredients and then you're adding the milk the night before, then I will go 5 to 7 days. Perfect. Because these jars, if you use glass jars, they keep your produce longer than using plastic. It's a chemical reaction. I can't explain it completely, but that is a fact. You could see it when you save things in glass, they're gonna last you longer. So if you mix your ingredients and add your milk the night before, you could make 5 of them. And the night before, you add a little bit of, even 2 nights, I will do. My apologies for that.
That's okay.
I have a very dramatic ringtone, so it keeps me sharp. It keeps me sharp. So my apologies. So if you mix them, and I wouldn't add milk for more than 3 days ahead, 2 to 3 days. If you want freshness, but if you have to, that to me will be the safest way. No more than 3 days with milk. Without milk, you could go 5 days.
That makes sense. And with the texture issue, well, unfortunately, I wish we could stay and ask more and more questions, but we are running out of time. I do want to say we do have some more comments, but basically saying awesome ideas and to thank you because this was a wonderful program. Yes. I am going to share our closing information with everyone. Oh, it looks so good. Coming soon to a lunchbox near you. I can promise that. So if you have any questions about the library, you can always contact us at 813-273-3652. If you want to ask about those books we were talking about, using your library card, our streaming services, you can always call us, or you can contact us online at hcplc.org/contact. I do want to remind you where you can find our previous classes. You can go directly to YouTube, search Tampa Hills Live. Chef Mira, we just did one. Summer Snacking is the name of the class where we talked about those kind of homemade Hot Pockets.
Yes.
You can use for breakfast, lunch, dinner. You can also find our full calendar of upcoming events at hcplc.org/events. And on that page, there is a link to our YouTube page as well. So if you want to find previously upcoming events or previously recorded, we've got them both for you. And then finally, if you want to learn more about Chef Mira and her classes and her services, always you can check out www.breakingbreadwithmira.com for a lot of good information there and a lot of good health information about the recipes you share. You do share a lot of great information there. So once again, thank you so much, Chef Mira. I am so excited about these recipes. Thank you to everyone for joining us. I hope you are going to run out and make them as well. And we hope to see you at a program very soon.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.